what this leads me to is now we have the tools to build our own custom integrations. So you can do something like query Workbrew to get information about the fleet, about installed packages, and use that information for logging purposes or for auditing purposes or really anything you can think of. But you can also subscribe for events from the Workbrew console, and whenever something happens, you can use that as the impetus for starting a workflow or starting some kind of a process internally. So here's a few use cases that I've been thinking about, based on many conversations I've had with our customers. So we hear over and over, we'd love to have Workbrew integrated with our SIM, like Splunk or Azure Sentinel. With the webhooks API, you can send all of those events directly into your SIM, no problem. You can also, if you need further data, like more detailed information, you can use our API to run a job on a regular basis, get all the inventory on a per device or per group basis, and then send that off as well. EDR tools like CrowdStrike and Carbon Black, you can integrate with those. One that's come up quite a lot is continuous integration, like GitHub Actions and Circle CI. There's a lot of opportunity here around default packages and configuring what software gets installed on devices. We have customers that want to delegate the privileges of who gets to choose what packages are installed on which devices to their engineering teams directly, but they still want to have some control around it. And so one option here is to allow them to define their default packages in a brew file in a source code management tool, and then use the pull request or approvals workflow of that source code management tool to have a life cycle around making changes to what packages are available. Obviously, with notifications, we have Slack, which I showed you before. I know among Mac admins, Swift Dialog is very popular. You could use the Workbrew API to listen for events. Then when you get an event, you could use that event to query more data from the REST API, use that data to then form a message or form some kind of a confirmation, and then send that to the user as Swift Dialog. When the user clicks a button in Swift Dialog, you can then take an action to run a brew command on their behalf. We've also had customers talking about inventory management with ServiceNow, keeping serials and all that kind of stuff around which devices, and then allocation of those devices. So this is just a small sampling of potential use cases around the API. And then some workflows. So these are workflows that I've heard directly from customers that they want to implement. This first one was really interesting to me. They wanted the ability to disable a device's VPN connection when there were vulnerabilities found. Now, this might sound a little bit intense at first. One vulnerability, I want to disable a device from the VPN. But really what they wanted to do is to say, when a vulnerability is found, they want to follow a workflow to notify the user and ask them to remediate the vulnerability on their own schedule. And if they don't meet the timeline, say 7 days, 14 days, then to enforce that they will do that update, they remove the VPN access. Another workflow is to alert a user when software is out of date. Right now, the way that Workbrew handles software updates is we alert the console users, the admins, but we don't alert the end users. So you could use that data to send alerts to your end users. And then another workflow is around code review of software packages. So whenever a new package enters your workspace, a net new package, it's never been installed on any device, you could scan for those events in the webhooks API and send an alert to your security team to say, hey, this new package called X was installed on a device for the first time. Please do an audit, save that to our records so that we have a paper trail of doing the audit, and that whole workflow can be automated using the API as well. So next, what I want to talk about